So we talked about esports, and we're going to become a little bit more conservative and circle back to what will now, I guess, be called traditional sports. And I'm sure that this next team, at least, doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'd like to invite Richard Arnold, who's the Managing Director of Manchester United, to the stage. Please, Richard. So, do we have any Manchester United fans? Can I ask that? Any Manchester United fans? Good, you already got a good fan base. So, esports to sports. So, what are some of the changes you are seeing? I mean, in the traditional sports space, what are some of the challenges you're seeing from technology? And do you see esports as a threat or as an opportunity?
So we're no exception to the speed of change that the world is seeing. If you went back to our founding in 1878 with railway workers watching a game on a Saturday morning, they paid on the gate, we didn't know who they are. You compare that to now, we've got over 1 billion fans around the world. Our games are shown on 80% of the world's televisions. And we're directly in touch with over 200 million of those fans and communicate with them. So technology's totally transformed how we engage with the fans that love the club. In terms of esports, it's a really exciting opportunity. Prince Faisal talked about engagement, and one of the most popular games in the world allows players to reenact the games. Over 100 million of our fans as individuals each year choose to represent Manchester United on the most popular games. So, for us, that's a huge ability to talk to fans between the actual live games, and I think that's one of the things that technology's really opened up for us. That ability to communicate every second of every day, anywhere in the world, with any fan, hear what they've got to say, and engage with them in all different kinds of ways.
So I guess it's not an easy feature being a managing director today and having to deal with all this technological change, but obviously it also opens up new, I guess, revenue streams for you as well. I mean, traditionally when I think about soccer or football, it's always been about broadcasting. So what are some of the benefits that you're seeing now from that technological change that you have embraced?
Well, the first thing to refer to, you said it's not easy being...
Yeah.
It's the best job in the world. I'm really lucky. So, in terms of what technology brings to us, broadcast, that's a case in point. Our broadcast figures have grown enormously over the years. Over 3.5 billion people watch our games each year. And that's enabled by technology. A huge proportion watch socially. So, whether that's in coffee shops or bars or at other people's houses, but they get together to watch the game. That tribalism is very important. But then outside of that ability to connect directly with the fans opens up a world of opportunity that even 20 years ago didn't exist. We can communicate, as I said, to 200 million fans, and that, whatever it is that we're looking to do in terms of the club's aims, in terms of communicating directly for ourselves, but also for partners, telling stories for our partners, and allowing them to be successful is enabled by that technology.
Yeah, I remember back in the days you would come in there, you'd maybe get a beer or water, and you'd have your hot dog. So how have that changed? I mean, that engagement before and after the match. What are you doing at the moment, and how are you keeping the fans, the followers engaged?
So, it starts with whether it's the history. The fabric that the club's made of, whether it's young players coming through or the stars of today, or the stars of yesterday or the games. There's an enormous amount, and we've had filmmakers on today already, of stories to be told. And that's incredibly adhesive to fans. Then you've got the anticipation of games, that build-up, wondering what the opposition will be like, what we'll be like, which players will or won't be fit. tactically how we'll approach things, how the manager's thinking about it. And that carries you 2 or 3 days of incredibly engaging content. The manager is challenged by journalists in the run-up to the game, and again, that's something that fans are fascinated by. Then you have the game itself, obviously, which is hugely engaging. And again, we've had the guys from the film industry talking just about how sizable their activity is. But our fans are watching 2 hours of live TV at least once a week. The audiences for our games are the equivalent of having a Super Bowl every week in terms of the number of people watching. So that's incredibly powerful.
And in terms of, sponsorship obviously have been, I guess, a big part of the business model. How has that changed, or do these new technological possibilities open up for new revenue streams?
So I think if you're a company looking to market their products or services, actually a digital environment's quite threatening. It's become enormous. The number of devices, the number of different things and different activities, the amount of time that people are spending engaging digitally with one form of content or activity. And so that's enormous. And that's created enormous ways of interacting with people. But actually, the human mind becomes very desensitized to advertising quite quickly. And we heard Sir Martin Sorrell talking about his new business earlier on, which is totally focused on sorting out the things that people are engaged in. Now, one of the last bastions of live content, where you have to watch it live, because once you've found out the score, you're less excited. But you want to know, you want to see it. It's like a film every week, but no one has scripted it. No one knows what will happen until it happens. And so again, that's incredibly powerful.
It seems like you need to be a much more creative in terms of how to reach audiences today. And one of the things that I was really fascinated about was how you in China look to expand the game or deliver new ways of engaging fans and followers in a more physical space. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the experience centers that you're trying to roll out now in China, and why you're doing that.
So I said earlier, with 1 billion fans around the world, we're able to do things in parts of the world because we have an enormous part of our family, whether that's here in Saudi Arabia, but also in China. We have nearly 300 million fans in China. And you stop and think for a minute, 300 million fans, right? And you put that in context, you'll have more than one job, more than one car, more than one house, more than one child, more than one parent, but you'll only support one team. And so the passion that people have means that they're really keen to engage with us around the games, but also around other experiences. And in the context of that, we looked at how we reach people between games and what they're interested in doing. And together with a partner, Halves, we're rolling out a series of experience centers across China. The first marketing centers opened on Tiananmen Square. And that's to allow us to connect with that family of fans in China.
Great. As we say in entertainment business, that is all, folks. So thank you so much for giving us a bit of insight about what is happening at Manchester United. Thank you so much. Give Richard a big round of applause. Thank you.